Survival becomes a lottery in Africa's Great Migration, when millions attempt to cross the mighty Mara River. This is Zulu Echo 5, an adult female zebra with a simple mission: to steer her young foal, Foxtrot 1, through his first migration. Across brutal plains and treacherous rivers, remote cameras and drones record mother and son every step of the way. Will they survive nature's ultimate off-million wildebeest only a few days' march behind? The food here isn't going to last long. They need to cross. But first, they must drink. A lazy pod of hippos owns this section of river, but these vegetarians are the least of the zebra's problems. The muddy water at the edge is not good for drinking, and zebras are fussy. They need to reach the deeper flowing stream. But clean water doesn't come cheap. Though he's more interested in his mother's milk, Foxtrot 1 goes with the flow through the muddy shallows. He hasn't yet learned to fear what lurks beneath. The crocodiles here in the Talek are not as large as the monsters of the Mara, but they're large enough to bring down an adult zebra. The zebra's body language is clear. They're anxious as they enter the water. But they take courage from their numbers. They stand their ground and drink. Is it recklessness, a calculated risk, or just plain desperation? Finally, some sense is forced into the zebras by nearly half a ton of primal reptilian hunger. But they don't retreat far. They hold their position on the bank. The instinct to head north is strong. One zebra makes a bold decision to cross. Fear holds the others back. Without her herd, she's made herself a prime target. Many of these crocodiles haven't eaten in months. But zebras are no pushovers. She bolts and shakes the crocodile off, then turns and beats a hasty retreat. Zulu Echo 5 calls out, but ultimately, all the herd can do is watch. To cross this, the bones left behind after last year's crossing, the wildebeest army streams down the bank straight to the river, instinct overwhelming any fear of the crocodile. The lions have been waiting for this moment. They're hungry for battle. As tens of thousands of animals finally spread throughout their domain, the big cats get what they've been waiting for. But as an army, the wildebeest form a formidable barrier, and each individual carries its own set of serious weapons. The young lionesses are looking for a weak spot. They see it. and this wildebeest immediately knows he's the target. He races towards the herd, but the lions have cut him off. His only hope now is to run. Lions are fast, but only over short distances. This young zebra has marched for 47 days to get here. But in less than a minute, she will be dead. Survival becomes a lottery in Africa's Great Migration, when millions attempt to cross the mighty Mara River. This is Zulu Echo 5, an adult female zebra with a simple mission: to steer her young foal, Foxtrot 1, through his first migration. Across brutal plains and treacherous rivers, remote cameras and drones record mother and son every step of the way. Will they survive nature's ultimate The 28th of June, 350 miles south of the Blood River crossing. This is where it all begins. Zulu Echo 5 is one of 6 mares in a harem, led by a single stallion. She's 5 years old, an adult in the zebra world. And as of 6:20 this morning, a new mother. Born in the middle of a battlefield, mother and foal will soon be drawn into a brutal million-year-old migration. Every year, the search for food and water drives nearly 1.5 million wildebeests, hundreds of thousands of zebras and antelope, on an 1,800-mile round trip across this East African savanna. At the moment, the main wildebeest and zebra herds are in the south, taking advantage of the summer grass. Zulu Echo 5 and her companions didn't trek as far south, finding enough graze for their numbers here, about halfway up the migration route. As the rains push northward, all will follow, across 2 ferocious rivers, including the infamous Mara, which will run with blood. There is neither start nor finish to this endless cycle. For each animal, the only beginning is birth, and the only ending, death. It is the start of the long dry season. The main army of 1.5 million wildebeest is many miles to the south, but the south is drying up. The rains are moving to the north. The zebras can't stay here. The Black Army is on the move, chasing the rains north to the promise of water and new grazing. As one, they start moving north, just as the Black Army moves up behind them. Zulu Echo 5 and her foe, Foxtrot 1, join this forward unit. The northern lands are now the place to be. There is water, food, and for the little foe, mother's milk. She will need plenty of green grass to keep it flowing. They must move, or die. It's going to be quite a journey. Battles will wage. Mercenary predators will attack. Ambushes lie ahead. Foxtrot 1, now 10 days old, does his best to keep up. His mother is never far from his side. Finally, they arrive at the Talek River, a tributary of the Mara. It's a source of much-needed water, but their journey cannot end here. The plains to the north are where the abundant mineral-rich grazing is. And with an army of 1.5 million wildebeests only a few days' march behind, the food here isn't going to last long. They need to cross. But first, they must drink. A lazy pod of hippos owns this section of river, but these vegetarians are the least of the zebra's problems. The muddy water at the edge is not